Couch Coach Live with Couch Coach T. White and Showtime Season.
That meme of Suge Knight.
Yo.
I was tripping so hard off of that. Cause what I had Tom Brady, Pete Rose, and then Diddy.
Yeah.
Okay. But you got my email from this morning, right? The last one, yeah. Because Warriors that was last week, so it was like.
Oh, I was Russ Simmons.
Huh?
The Georgia State winner.
UVA.
Oh,
yeah. Back here on the 2-hour ride, it is Couch Coach Live. I got my man LA in the building. What's going on?
Hey, nothing, brother.
And you know, you checking us out on Ustream. We rocking our team colors, man. Our valor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Bird gang.
You know what I'm saying? Hail to the Redskins. Hail victory.
I only do that when they play the Cowboys.
I
learned the fight song. I learned y'all fight song.
Man, it's lovely, man.
During a Cowboy game.
Yeah.
Just to spite Cowboy fans.
Oh yeah, no question. They hate it. I love it. And I think it's cool. I love it. Especially when you're in the stadium.
It's nothing like our fight song as well.
The fight Chip Kelly's.
No, man. No. Fly, Eagles, fly. On the road to victory.
Ain't that crazy? But yeah, man, I'm telling you, no fight songs. I'm not telling nobody.
And I think we're the only two with fight songs in the NFL.
Official ones, yeah. I love it, especially when we score, man. Yeah, it's amazing, man.
It's just like the pageantry. It gives you like the college atmosphere when you hit your fight song.
And then all your fans and especially in your little stands, sing it to each other and be like,
I mean, even when you're like, if you're at a sports bar and you got fans around you that know what they're doing. It's nothing like a better.
It's awesome. It's like it's one of the most ultimate sport highs.
Yeah.
That you can get, man. It's awesome.
Yep.
Can't nobody say.
A legal high is what you call that.
a legal sports high. We'll put it that way. Before we get ourselves in trouble, we don't want to get fired.
Yeah, no PEDs.
No, none of that. So first off, to kick off this week with our starting lineup, your boy Tom Brady was in NYC. Did they appealing his 4-game suspension?
Goodell said they had a good meeting.
They had a good meeting and they let 40 people in. I'm just like,
I want to know what's a bad meeting. If
that's exactly, and that's why I told people, and I even said this on the show. They did 4 to give leverage.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, because it's gonna get reduced either to 0.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's 0.
Yeah, because you can't have Jimmy Garoppolo opening up Thursday night football.
Yeah. How about wait till week 9 when we play you guys? Hey, give him a suspension in the middle of the year. Give him a 2-game suspension between week 8 and week 9.
You pick that to be suspended.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, do like college. Yeah, we're going to suspend you this game.
Yeah. Give us a fighting chance, but I don't know. They killed us in scrimmage.
Yeah, that was last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, they did the same thing now, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, but it was just so funny seeing them in scrimmage. And that's why I think that let me know, like, we aren't gonna be good this year. I'm telling you that and I remember people looked at me and was like, well, why are you so down and out about it? Because I'm like, even though it's a scrimmage, but when New England came that day, they were like in mid-season form. This is August the 4th on a Monday afternoon. They're in mid-season form. I literally thought this was in the middle of the season. I'm thinking, I was like, I knew our secondary was gonna get crushed.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
Don't feel bad. They did the same thing.
Came
out there. I mean, they gave me a glimmer of hope because it's like their first play. Kerry Williams took a pick six back.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe we got something to look forward to. Then after that, it just went
down. That's why I like now going to camp, because camp lately has given me such a barometer, because they just let you know the complexity of the team and let you know like. To an extent.
Yeah. Because
with us, I can kind of tell, especially the first year when he was here, I knew like, oh, we're gonna be bad. Yeah. I knew that year we were gonna be bad just due to the fact.
I think like a lot of times, like with preseason football, it gives you a false sense of reality.
And it does.
Because after our 2011 season, we finished the last 4 games on a 4-game winning streak. Then we went 4-0 in the preseason.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there like, okay, maybe we're coming out to something. And then we started the year 2-0. And I was like, okay, we won 10 straight games. This is something to be, something we can hang our hats on. And then it just went downhill from there. So
and that's one thing with them. I kind of with that first, even though they were Redskins, they were 4-0 in that preseason too, and I still for some conceivable reason don't see this translate. And I used to, matter of fact, I was a co-host of a show back then 2 years ago, and I said that they were going to be like 5-11, and people were like,
I mean, and that just gives you a more realistic feel, like I study my team in preseason. I get concerned about some guys who I think should make the team. They get cut for a veteran just because of their namesake, and it's like when you got that hungry player. Like you look at Victor Cruz a couple years ago.
Exactly.
He came off the practice squad. No one knew he was coming out of UMass.
Yeah, no.
I remember that one game he had 5 catches, 107 yards, 3 touchdowns. Here's this guy out of UMass, a football player out of UMass. He just took over this whole preseason game and became a star in the NFL. Yeah. So it's like, if you can follow on that, I mean, that makes you the ultimate fan. Your team inside and out from the top of your roster to the practice squad. I mean, it makes you the ultimate fan. Yeah.
And that's one thing when and that's one thing you have to, especially in camp, because camp is especially such a more of a, you can kind of see it gives you, like people it gives you a great barometer of your team's success in training camp. Like I remember the first year I was like, y'all, we about this whole RG3 getting cleared and making clear, but I'm like, he's limping after every single play. Like he doesn't even need to be out here. Yeah. Like seriously, like if he's not taking first team reps, second or third week of preseason.
But it's like one of my friends, we always talk about that. It's just like it's a big joke. People say, well, he took all the first team reps this week. He had a good week of practice. You talk about practice. That doesn't correlate to an actual game.
And that's what Brian Mitchell said. Yeah. Because he was like, he's like, I'm tired of these excuses of these coaches coming at a podium and you getting your butt kicked.
Yeah.
And then you worrying about saying, well, we had a good week of practice. He was like, you're supposed to have a good week of practice. Yeah. That's expected. Like, you come in, obviously, it wasn't good enough for you to win this week. Yeah. So why, why are you harping on the fact that you had a good practice? You ought to have a good practice.
Yeah, you can't touch quarterbacks.
You can't touch quarterbacks. You're in pads. You're in t-shirts. You're in t-shirts. How do you think they don't do pads?
Only one day a week.
Only one day a week, which is crazy.
Yeah. You're a professional athlete. You don't want to get. I mean, I understand.
I understand. I do and I don't.
For the sake of the owners protecting their players.
Yeah.
I get that, and if people want to have a longer career, because you can't go get killed in practice. You expect to have the same kind of performance during the week.
Yeah.
So
I understand it. I understand it to an extent, but moving on. A little bit of news in Major League Baseball, which I'm really not surprised about this. About Pete Rose. And this is according to ESPN Outside the Lines. They have documents that indicate that the former Red Star and former manager bet on baseball during his playing days as early as 1984.
I mean, the thing with betting on games, I think to a certain degree, everyone does it. Like, whether it's a gentleman's bet between players, it's still betting no matter how you look at it. I mean, even like the rumors about Michael Jordan was caught gambling. And that's what led him to retire in 94.
At 30.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's an extra source of income. Like Floyd Mayweather, he bets on himself all the time. So, do you kick him out of boxing for doing that? No. I mean, if Pete Rose is throwing a game, then I see something wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
And even according to reports, they're saying that he bet on the Reds every single time. And it's not like he's betting on, like, if they were playing the Pittsburgh Pirates, he bet on the Pirates that particular night. Yeah. He always bet on the Reds.
I mean, and I see nothing wrong with that. Because, first of all, as a manager, that means you're responsible for that team. So if you win, why not get yourself an extra little bonus and anything? Like, I mean, I don't see the problem because you can, as a player, he can go out and play the lottery, and that doesn't prohibit him from doing anything else. Yeah. Betting is betting, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, and somebody made a good point. I feel bad because I don't know who brought the point, but let's say, for instance, if you have a situation like today, you have a game today, you betting on them, you bring in all the bullpen today, then you don't bet on them tomorrow, and then you know they pretty much are going to lose because you're sending everybody pretty much out. I understand it from that perspective, but as far as the the grand scheme of things, as far as the Hall of Fame and what have you, I'm still convinced. I mean, because now I think we're gonna get into an era where there's gonna be guys who with PEDs are going to be getting in the Hall of Fame. So to me, it's like it's going to be unfortunate. I don't think he's going to ever live to see him being honored in the Hall of Fame.
And like I think I touched on this a couple of shows ago. I mean, like if a player is Hall of Fame worthy, then they're Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah,
it shouldn't discourage. I mean, to a certain degree, what they did, but if their career was good enough and is Hall of Fame eligible, let them in. Don't worry about no sports writers because everybody's going to have their opinion. No one is ever going to receive 100% of the ballot. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. And people get omitted from the Hall of Fame because of their relationship with certain sports writers.
And that's why I think, they should take that away from them. Because to me, there's agenda behind that.
Yeah.
And like I always point the biggest agenda, I call it the biggest elephant in the room. One of the reasons why Al Monk never made it.
Yeah.
Due to the fact of
because
of Peter King, in a sense. Because Peter King had this, I don't know, for some insatiable, as far as, and I'm just like, look.
And what you did on the field should not translate to how you conduct yourself in the locker room after a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying it's like the ultimate relationships. Like, why, just because this person was mean to you, or, I mean, not mean to you, but just wasn't complimentary to your needs, or he didn't like the certain aspect that you brought into the play. I'm like, and for you, and for them, they asked the most craziest questions in the first place. So to me, it's like, you already take them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, especially like after a loss or anything like that. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't. There should be a cooling off period. I say give them at least 2 hour to 2 hours before you stick a camera in their face, especially after a loss. So
I mean, they get time. They don't even really have time to take a shot.
Yeah, they don't even leave the field before you start questioning
them. Yeah. I know. That's like I was saying about the whole Trent Williams and Richard Sherman thing.
Yeah.
That's how it happens when you're in when you lose like this, and then they use that against you.
Yeah.
If you say something bad, and you say something, you might slip your tongue and be like, somebody made this error, somebody made this mistake. Then it's like, okay.
And like I think with Hall of Fame, it should be consisted of former players, like players who are in that Hall of Fame.
And I think that's for every sport because to me, they evaluate the game more. They kind of understand it. They kind of appreciate the process because they'll see, well, look what understand what he went through with this, that, and the third.
Yeah, you take all aspects. I mean, and that just goes back to how they graded the Finals MVP.
Yeah.
There was only one person, like Jeff Van Gundy was the only credible source that got a vote as far as who would win the Finals MVP, and he was a player coach, a former coach, not a player. Like somebody like maybe a Finals committee, maybe somebody like Bill Russell should be on it because of course he has the name on the trophy. And like Chauncey Billups would say, have a group of former Finals MVPs come together and that way they say, all right, this is who we're gonna.
Because there's no way, and that's my thing. And we can go to that too. There's no way on earth LeBron James should even receive the vote.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's funny because we always. The same people who criticize him is the same one that give him a BS award like that. And that's one thing, I don't understand, I'm totally like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny, and I always look at, it ought to be, or even, I even say it's maybe coaches or something, because it's kind of reminiscent of the All-Star game. It's funny because if it was up to the sports writers, you have a lot of guys who be making All-Star teams that are bogus. Yeah. That's almost it. Kind of gives me the same. I think about it like this. I thought about it a couple days ago. Just this whole MVP giving it to LeBron James, it kind of reminiscent of remember Vucevic from Orlando.
Yeah.
If sports writers had him in, he would go in due to the fact that he puts up all-star numbers. He almost averaging 20 points a game.
Yeah.
But the reason why he didn't make it because he was on a losing team.
I mean, and also you look at like the coaches for the all-star teams.
Yeah.
Whoever coaches that team, 9 out of 10 for the reserves, they pick the reserves. So you see a lot of people who the coaches coach. They picked those guys for their reserves. That's why Al Horford and Kyle Korver made the All-Star team.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Al Horford wasn't worthy of an All-Star appearance. I do think there were better All-Stars other than him, but Kyle Korver should never be. The only thing he should be synonymous with All-Star is shooting the three-point contest.
That's it. And maybe, or maybe if Mike Scott want to be in a dunk contest, dunk over.
And he passed the ball. But
shout out Mike Scott, UVA.
But other than that, never. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
The man everywhere. 15 points. 15 points is not all-star numbers.
That's why I was really shocked. Like, Cal,
especially like Derrick Rose didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. That's just like, and that's how the mentality is. Like, as far as we get like he's on a losing team. Why is he even considered the MVP?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't care if he averaged 50 points. And honestly, to be honest with you, after Game 4, this series was a wrap.
Yeah, I mean, and that takes away credit from the winning team if you give that Finals or MVP award to a loser. Because they're still leaving the court. Why? He's going to be the only person that comes on the court. Now, what happens is he's not going to come alone on that court. You're going to have your teammates. And then, not to say like they're older and more mature, but can you imagine if J.R. Smith had to walk back on the court in a losing effort?
Well, he would have had a hovercraft on, and then he would have had a bud in his hand.
Yeah. So
That's shout out to J.R. Smith, man. J.R. Smith was like, you know what? I was done at halftime.
Yeah.
And you see, that was so funny. I don't know what I was thinking. When we were texting Tuesday night after the show, I was thinking to myself, look at JR sitting in the corner. Like, he's just thinking, like, look, what's for dinner after we leave, after we get our butts handed to us? What we going to eat?
Yep.
All right. So now we got to get into the final topic of this week's Starting Five. Your boy Diddy. So, as we all know, his government name is Sean Combs. He's a music mogul and actually the son of Justin Combs, a red shirt junior defensive back for the UCLA Bruins. Diddy actually was at this point it's allegedly it's a possibility. They said they might charge him next week.
He was charged.
He was charged, 3 counts for assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of terrorist threats, and 1 count of battery.
Yeah.
And this all stems from an argument with Sal Okosi, which infamously he was actually the Jets strength and conditioning coach back in 2010. We had a situation where a Dolphins player tripped off his foot. And according to a lot of sources, and we're going to go based on the LA Times report, they're pretty much saying that Okosi was pretty much, I wouldn't say ratting, Justin as far as the workout, because it was like the first day of the summer workouts. And I guess Justin came in, he came in not fit or not, to the par, and Diddy just came to his rescue, pretty much. And
I just got a big problem with this. I mean, it's like at this point he's an adult, and his father should be nowhere near that campus. You let those guys coach. That's what they're there for. He's there to play. Now he's already got the stigmatism of being a spoiled kid, millionaire son.
Yeah.
Now he's a spoiled millionaire athlete.
Exactly.
So now he's sitting there. All right, my dad's coming to my rescue. Now he's got the persona that he can't be touched by anybody. Yeah. And now you put the university in a corner where, Justin Combs cannot play at that university. He just can't. You have to send him on his way because you can't deal with that on another basis where his father shows up and he's throwing weights around and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
kettlebells.
Yeah, and it's being a former football player and a coach. You know, I've never done anything to a kid with you smack them on the shoulder pads, smack them up against the helmet, grab their face mask, nothing in a threatening manner. You know, it's all football behavior. I guarantee you it's not the first time a coach has yelled at him.
And to your point, the only time I can understand is if he was a freshman. Now, mind you, he, like as we said in the rap, this man is a redshirt junior. This is his 4th year on campus.
Yeah.
He's a grown man.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a 17-year-old freshman that just, he's not what's Snoop's son? I forgot his name.
He's at USC?
No, UCLA.
Yeah. So, and you know, if you look at the show that they had when his son was at Bishop Gorham, Snoop stayed in the crowd.
He stayed in the crowd.
And that's your place. You're not a coach. You should never be. Why are you going into a coach's office?
And the fun, and that thing is, why are you in the weight room?
Yeah.
Now, I can understand at games or something like that. I wouldn't even, and I say, just a game. I wouldn't even say the practice facility, and damn sure not the weight room.
Yeah, because then you take away from the team. Everybody's distracted because Diddy's in the weight room.
Exactly, and it's so funny. You're extremely right. As we was getting ready for this show last night, now ESPN, he's on the cover of ESPN. He put UCLA, a team that's on the verge of making a huge leap in the Pac-12. And there's a story about P. Diddy getting arrested for trying to strike the assistant coach at UCLA. This is, and even with you, right? Because he's only played sparingly anyway. Yeah. So it's to a point where they might just be better off without him.
Yeah, and this goes back to the fact when his son first got the scholarship, you know, there was a big uproar about him saying, why are you wasting a scholarship on him? Granted, he did earn that scholarship, and granted that Diddy did pay the way for a walk-on to, you know, come to school. But it's
still, but they don't give you the right.
Yeah, all this negative attention that you just brought to that university where, like, you know, they're telling him to leave the facility. No, I'm not going anywhere. So now you put yourself bigger than the school, and you're not bigger than that school. And, you know, we're going to call the police. No, I'll call them for you. Like, now you just walking around like an Iron Man, like, and that's not your place. Like, you have to let these coaches be coaches. That's what they're there for. Your job is you're the father of a player, so that means you're a spectator.
You're a spectator.
And that's where it stops at. You didn't see Master P jumping in Tim Floyd's face because Romeo didn't get any playing time. No.
Yeah, because once DeMar DeRozan left, bye. Bye. He was a package deal.
Then let's just go, like, how good is your son then?
Exactly.
If you have to come to his defense at that, he's what, 20, 21 years old?
Yeah.
That means he's not that good. It's just, give it up.
And for that team, you got to think about just for him to be a redshirt junior, he's only played sparingly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the indication right there that he's not, not what you expect him to be.
Yeah.
But shout out to Justin Combs, because remember he had off at UVA.
Good thing he didn't come here.
Oh man, Mike Lundy. Wait, I don't know. It might need a little publicity, especially after this quarterback carousel that's going on down in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, to me, I always just say, and that's why I always like, parents just need to stay away from this, from it. I mean, because it's just too much to me. When you think about it, it's just, come on, like let the coaches coach, let the players be players. And let you be a parent.
And I used to coach. I coached recreation football. For like 13 to 14-year-old kids in Richmond.
Yeah.
And the coaching staff that we had, it was a great call because none of the coaches had kids that were on the team. So there was no favoritism or anything like that. Our goal was to make sure that these kids got better so they can go to the next level and be a winner. That's what we were there for. And ultimately, we won. Because of that, no one had that bias where they felt like they had to play. You got to focus on coaching. The hardest part was to make sure that the parents stayed in line and let us do what we needed to do.
And that's even hard at your level.
Yeah.
Because I've known in cases where you've seen the overzealous parents at times. I mean, and and that's everywhere. Even in the high school level, I've seen a lot. I've encountered one of my we were real cool. He was one of the guys, and I remember talking to his dad, and we were talking. Matter of fact, we was walking from the campus on to the car, and he just talking about, yeah, man, I hate this coaching staff. They ride my boy, and I'm like, hey, man, and even with me, I always try to be like, hey. He may not have got what he wanted, because I think he would.
And the reason why coaches ride players is because they see much more potential than what they're letting on. So if you're a scholarship athlete, that means you're a cut above the rest. You shouldn't be showing up your junior year out of shape. I mean, that's you're taking away from someone else's spot.
Exactly.
So like I said, he can't play football at that university. Now he's going to be a D2 athlete somewhere, because he can't cut it as a D1 player. He's got to go to D2, and you could thank his dad for that.
And he might have just ruined him as far as just a scholarship. I mean, just playing college ball. Period.
Yeah, because say if he was good enough, he does go to the pros. Now you have to deal with that.
Exactly, and that's even worse. I mean, and. Man, he's trying to get me in trouble, man. I'm telling you, man, why'd you go there?
Hey, man, look.
It's because we got the same situation going on in the nation's capital.
Hey.
Man, he setting me up, dog. And that's a problem where I'm just like, you can't set you setting yourself up for disaster when you do stuff like that. But we can take a brief time out. When we come back, we're going to do our starting five. Pretty much the NBA Finals aftermath. And we'll be back here on Couch Coach Live.
Wait, you started five?
Huh? We back here on Couch Coach Live. Shout out to LA for the future of Justin. He might be. Matter of fact, wasn't he the little boy that was like with his bottles? Remember, bad boys come out and play. Jim Morrow, Coach Acosti, come out and play. Dang, homie. That's how I go. He'll be Andre.
Yeah, hope he got one of them shiny suits.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mason Bethel. They gonna rise to the top. Anyway, but yo, they was the stuff back, man. They was them dudes, man, back in the day. But I gotta get back into our mode now. What we're gonna do this is gonna be this week's starting lineup. Okay. Pretty much, yeah. Pre-production notes all screwed up, but this is a NBA Finals pretty much aftermath edition of the starting lineup. So question number one: how does this Warriors team stack up against previous champions?
I think it's hard to compare. I think they're more like along the lines like the San Antonio Spurs, where they were just a good team.
Yeah.
Where they were led by a superstar, and then the further they got into the playoffs, it just became a more team game, and it's just you had those unsung heroes that had you weren't expecting. Like last year, it was Kawhi Leonard. He was talented, but you always figured it was going to be Tim Duncan or Tony Parker that was going to win an MVP. So I mean, that's just how you look at this team. It's just like they made a lot of adjustments on the fly. Will help them to win. Yep. I mean, and that's accredible to their coaching staff. So that's how you look at those. Like, because you haven't seen a more team-oriented finals in a while. It's you got the superstar and then everybody else.
Yeah, and I think this team, I think they're gonna stack up against. I wouldn't say the greats, but they're gonna be deemed more so like an anomaly.
Yeah,
where they're predicated on positionless basketball, interchangeable parts, jump shooting team. A lot of teams have tried to do this and have failed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it could be a situation where in the future this is gonna bode well in the as far as are you gonna be able to model those type of components and be successful, which is highly unlikely
because what's gonna happen going forward, you're gonna see so many teams try to copy that.
Yeah.
And like you look at like teams like the Memphis Grizzlies, like they didn't have a real superstar, even though they had Zach Randolph as their go-to guy.
Yeah.
But this team, you had those elements where you Steph Curry, you Klay Thompson, those guys who were at any given night can take over a game. I mean, the team is led by Steph Curry. And it's also like the first time, I want to say since Jerry West, where you had the point guard who led the team in scoring and assists to win an NBA championship. Like, that's never been done before, where you usually see like another position player lead the team in scoring. It's never been the point guard. And I guess they're probably changing the trend of that. I mean, just the way the league is shifting, where you get more of the guards now as far as scoring.
And then you looking at I think the biggest component, like I'm piggyback off of Jalen Rose. What's the difference between the Phoenix style of offense that Steve Kerr ran, when he was in the GM and he had Alvin Gentry as his coach? The difference between that was, like he said, you didn't have a guy like a Draymond Green who can guard multiple positions. Yeah. You had a guy like Amari Stoudemire and Draymond's
they had Sean Marion.
Well, he was just saying as far as in the center position, that center position who can guard multiple positions, and how Amari was deemed as pretty much a defensive liability.
Yeah, I mean that's what they meant. Yeah, that's the biggest difference between those two styles of teams was the defense.
Yeah.
They had no one who can guard on the perimeter.
Yeah.
Steve Nash was a liability.
Yeah.
Amari, he could not anchor a defense.
Yeah.
I mean, even they played a lot of games without a defensive anchor, but you still had Bogut on the team, Azili. You had guys on that team that could come in and anchor, and they did so when called upon.
David Lee.
Yeah, staples like that. It's just I think Steve Kerr saw what his mistakes was in Phoenix, and he kind of corrected them. So, I mean, even though Mark Jackson put that team together, it was, I mean, you look at their style of play. Like, Steve Kerr sat and watched from different angles. He played with the great Bulls teams. Yep. He played with the Spurs. So then he got from a higher view
personality
from watching the Phoenix, how it was up and down the court. So he kind of molded his team to fit all of the structures and the playing styles that he's seen. So Mark Jackson was more of a let's patiently, we're going to do this and see what works until we get this right. I mean, I'm not going to take nothing away from Mark Jackson as a coach. But if you look at Mark Jackson as a player, Mark Jackson as a coach, it's the same guy, and that's not the way the game is played right now.
Yeah, and even to piggyback on that, it was Mark Jackson's team, but people got to... Somebody broke it down to me, and it made complete sense. It's cool to have him to say, well, yeah, Mark Jackson's team, but it's almost the same thing as if like you're in a relationship with somebody and you broke up with that person, and then a year later, so they got married.
Yeah,
like it goes to that, and it's the same thing. Somebody came along, and the person who you may not have won or whatever went on to next and found something great and had that quote unquote happy ending. And who's to say that Mark Jackson would have guided the team to 6-7 wins and win a championship? It's here nor there.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's one of the things where, when they brought that up, I was like, you know what, that is a good point.
Yeah, because you look at football the same way. Like Mike Singletary built that 49ers team up, and it was still around that 8-8, you know, that 500 ball club. Here comes Jim Harbaugh, who's a little bit more creative. More innovative with his offense as far as what Singletary was used to, and then they go to a 13-win season in the NFL NFC Conference Championship. So it's like every it's the little pieces that goes into the pot that makes everything better.
And it's definitely shout out to Mike Robb, because I remember Mike Robb, he was talking one time and he was saying it like because he was talking about San Francisco 49ers and he was during the Mike Nolan area. So he was like, yeah, man, everybody loved Mike Nolan, but once Singletary came, it was a different aura. It was a different, and then, of course, once Singletary left, then they got elevated again with Jim Harbaugh. And who knows with Tom Sola what they're going to do, but, you know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Since we already answered question number 2 of it pretty much as far as replication of it. So, number 3, who is the favorite to win the 2016 NBA Finals?
I think that's too early to predict because you got anything that can happen. Free agency hasn't happened, and the draft hasn't happened. Because, you know, somebody's going to get antsy. Yeah. Their team could be one piece away, but yet they want this younger superstar. They're going to trade that away, and you're going to mess something up. Injuries take place. You know, it's... But if I had to go on a limb, depending on what kind of pieces they add, I would go with OKC.
Okay.
Because you're going to have Kevin Durant healthy.
And this might be the last run.
Yeah, so that'd be my favorite.
I'm telling you, the Spurs remind me of a dog you see in the alley that's blooded up, blood and everything, looking like they have no fight whatsoever. But that dog keep on coming out the alley and attacking folks. I got the Spurs, and this might be their last run as well.
And
one more for the Gipper.
I think the shocker would be the Clippers.
Yeah, I think Clippers will be, Clippers will have a shot.
Because they're talking about they might go get Paul Pierce now. So
I think I like that. Then him coming full circle back in L.A. Yeah. But they got some god-awful ugly uniforms.
I haven't seen the uniforms.
Oh, my God. I show you to you during the break. Man, this is ugly. Who knows? Who knows? Number 4, what are the chances Kevin Love return to the Cavs?
I say 0. He's good as gone. Like they showed you they can get there without him.
Yeah.
They need someone who can protect the rim and play under the basket. Kevin Love, he's too versatile for that team. I mean, he's another scorer on that team, but he can stretch the floor out. But from what they showed, they don't need him. That money that they're going to play, I mean, even though he has a player option, I think they're going to trade him to try to get something for him because he's not going to sign a long-term deal and finish out his career in Cleveland. It's not going to happen. You got to re-sign Tristan Thompson. You got to figure out what you're going to do elsewhere. So, and you repaid Verjao. He resigned.
And then you got
Mozgov.
option. I would do a trade redo. I send him back to Minnesota for Andrew Wiggins.
But Kevin Love wants to go to LA, so
yeah,
I don't know if that's Lakers or Clippers. He just wants to go to LA.
And then just imagine if they get him and Boogie Cousins. Oh boy, the Lakers might be back. Watch out, Pacific Division. Round out this week's starting lineup. Number 5, chances David Blatt will be the Cavs coach next season.
I say it's about 25% because really the only person that really likes him is LeBron, just because he gives LeBron that freedom to do what he wants, and it's like LeBron can be the coach on the floor. But they also said that they know that if it comes to a late game adjustment, he hasn't adjusted that. He's shown you that from his European style. Like the coaching transition, it just you can't go 7 deep throughout the entire playoffs. It just doesn't happen. So you see what's happened. You saw just from the fact that he didn't play Mozgov for 9 minutes in Game 5. So that shows his intelligence as a coach. And you just don't go away from your game plan, the things that got you there, to something you adapt into what someone else is doing. So it's very slim that he's there.
I'm gonna go 15 because I just don't see it. I don't see it because to me they gotta take the next step. And I just think that they shouldn't just hire him in the first place.
With a team like that,
questionable.
You need a veteran coach, and I don't like. I think Eric Spoelstra was lucky, but even though I think having Pat Riley that affected it so much.
You aren't taking no mess.
Yeah,
because with Pat, with him being there. And people say, well, maybe you need to bring Tyronn Lue into the fold. But I'm like, it's going to be the same situation.
You need a proven coach.
You need a proven coach. You need a guy that's going to get in LeBron James' face.
Yeah.
Because this is real. Shout out to Jalen Rose. Jalen Rose is giving me so much material because Jalen Rose said it best. This whole situation with LeBron James pretty much pulling the strings, it's almost just like having a child.
Yeah.
It's just like having a child and they're acting up and you're not disciplining them for acting up.
Yeah.
He was like, how would you feel if your child, if you was a parent and you seen another child, talking back to their parents, and just how you feel about that? And I'm like, good point. Good point. Because it's like, and that's what's wrong with him saying that he's the best player in the world type of thing, because to me that just shows you this situation lets me know that you want the ball in your own court. I understand you opting out, getting the max deal because you have the physical gifts that suggest that you are the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
You from a physical standpoint.
Yeah, but his winning percentage.
Doesn't dictate that, or the other intangibles that comes with being a winner.
Yeah.
Everybody who he's compared to has had strong coaches.
Yeah. Very,
very strong coaches. And and not say they're coachable or what have you, but you're gonna pretty much you're dictating what that coaches do.
Yeah.
And that's why I think what helped him in Miami because of the structure. Because you're not gonna do that with Pat Riley. Riley's not.
I think if Pat Riley wasn't involved with that team, then it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen
because you had too many ego. It's like you look at the way he took over that team. Like D Wade went from the ball was always in his hands.
Ball dominant. Yeah,
he liked it that he got to play off the ball because he got a chance to create. He didn't take the beating as he did in previous years when he always had the ball in his hand. And it's like, you look at that team with LeBron, he has a point guard. Let the offense run through the point guard.
Exactly.
You get down there on the block, make the game easier for yourself. But no, he's so worried about the stats. He's a great player.
Oh, yeah, he's a great player.
He's a walking triple-double. Why is he a walking triple-double? Because he has the ball in his hand.
He's ball dominant, and he makes comfortable shoes.
Yeah. And it's like Charles Barkley said, the thing that you can't compare LeBron to Michael Jordan is LeBron doesn't have the killer instinct. He's too passive.
Yeah.
You can't see LeBron sit there and take over games. Other than that 1 year in Cleveland where he scored with the 29 straight points,
Oh, yeah, against Detroit.
I thought if he would have kept on that kind of path, then yes,
he's on his way. But now, no.
No.
So yeah, what we're gonna do is I'm glad we brought up the LeBron James because when we come back, we're gonna do our abbreviated fair or foul where we're gonna talk about Phil Jackson versus LeBron and Jerry Richardson being Mr. Philanthropic. This is Couch Coach Live. We'll be right back.
Yeah, that's like, as much as I hate Kobe, Kobe is the closest thing that we have to Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah, no question. No question.
they doing from the game that we grew up in our generation that we saw. You know, it's completely different. I mean, I know they want to see more points on the board, but again, basketball is basketball. Don't water down the product to make me like it.
Exactly, and that's what it boils down to. And he's right, because it's funny. Like, these games are now starting to become very unwatchable.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when it and that's why, like, people, when you try to explain these type of things to younger individuals, I mean, maybe like early 20s, late teens, and early teenagers,
the crossover babies.
Yeah, the crossover babies.
That's all they want to do is crossover.
They're turning the century babies.
Yeah, so there's no, pick and roll.
I grew up with pick and roll. Yeah, I'm gonna just shake you up and do this.
It's too much ISO.
It's only ISO basketball, and to me, and I agree with Phil. And it's one of those things where it's just, to me, it's just he's right. Yeah. I mean, I understand, and coming from, like, if it came from somebody else, then okay, I can see it from a different standpoint, but for somebody like him who has won 11 titles, with 13 titles, 11 as a coach and 2 as a player.
So you're talking about the greatest coach who we have seen
that is living.
Yeah, and he's coached 2 of, maybe I'll say 3 of the most dominant players that we have seen in Jordan, Shaq, and Kobe.
And there was no ISO ball whatsoever.
I mean, you can kind of say it was with the triangle, but people move.
But people move, and they had integral guys who can pass.
Yeah.
It was more of a structured offense, and it was actually to a point where it was watchable.
Yeah. It's like now, like, when it's basketball season, like the only time I really watched game for game was during the playoffs. Yeah. And it shouldn't be that way. It used to be like, if it's a basketball game is on and it's football season, you'd be like, well, you know what? I'll just watch NFL replay. I'd rather not watch this.
Yeah.
Because the game is so watered down.
And that's why I say the genesis of the whole, everybody saying LeBron's the greatest. I'm like, no, like, you can't without a shadow of a doubt. Like, I was like, like Michael Jordan, his games were so unique where you want to see him do something that you've never seen in your life before. And he would make a game, like I made this example all the time. He make a game Tuesday night against Cleveland in December in the dead of winter, like it was an exciting game to watch.
And it's like, I wasn't a Bulls fan growing up.
Yeah.
But I tuned in to watch Michael Jordan. Like, I was all about a good basketball game. That's all I wanted to see.
Yeah. And now the product is just...
Like they say, LeBron makes everybody better. Like, he doesn't make everybody better. Because you had Michael Jordan turn... Like, Scottie Pippen was an all-star. Horace Grant was an all-star. B.J. Armstrong was an all-star because of Michael Jordan.
Exactly. And that's what people say, well, he had Pippen. No, he made Pippen. Yeah. You gotta understand, Pippen was an equipment manager going into his senior year in college.
Yeah.
He was an equipment manager, folks. Yeah. Now he's an NBA Hall of Famer. He does... If he didn't get traded for our boy, what's the boy, Owens from UVA, the one that kept on stealing stuff. Because you remember he was stealing stuff from Ames.
Yeah.
What a young boy don't know no Ames. Anyway, Olin Polynice. Yeah. Olin Polynice. Yeah. From UVA.
Pippen was a what?
Just imagine if he would have
5th overall pick.
And just imagine if he would have went to Seattle.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have been the Scottie Pippen that we know.
Yeah, and I mean, you also look at like what the Bulls did in that draft. They drafted Horace Grant and they traded for Scottie Pippen. So that was the core of their team. Yeah. Then they gambled on Tony Kukoc, would happen to help them out, and what else happened? Who else was the Dennis Rodman signing? Then you got Luke Longley, who came over from Australia. You had, like, Jordan made those guys. Those guys were nothing. And Jordan got Luke Longley to average, 12 points a game. Like,
beast.
And he left Chicago to go to New York and found a $50 million deal.
Exactly. And a lot of guys got deals, got paid.
Yeah.
Some people still cut them checks.
Yeah, so, I mean, you got to look at what Chicago did. Like, you took Ron Harper, who was a predominant scorer, and forced him into a role player.
And
he flourished in that role.
Because I'm telling you, people, I'm telling them, I'm doing this little old school thing Ron Harper was a beast.
Yeah.
Ron Harper was a poor man's Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Back in Cleveland. People don't know.
He went to the Clippers.
And then he went to the Clippers, and then he came there. Dennis Rodman was the same way.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman was a great on the with the Detroit Pistons. The bad boy team was one of the young up and coming guys. He came, went to San Antonio, got married, and came to Chicago, and his ego got massaged.
Yeah.
Where he didn't hit all, and he got to count his opponent's heads.
Yeah.
Like without doing nothing crazy, well, except for kicking the cameraman. But other than that, he was a model. He was a model citizen.
Yeah.
And I mean, and people like these are intricate parts. And shout out to Ronald, what's his name? Our boy Parrish was a part of that 17. Yes, the captain.
Yeah, I mean
like,
the chief.
The chief. I mean, the chief. Yeah.
I mean, and it's just like when you say that made something like that's the best in the world. Like to win that 72 games, LeBron is never gonna win 72 games.
He's never gonna win 72 games.
Because you know why? Because if he has to play 3 nights, he's
gonna take off. He's gonna take 2 weeks off.
I need a rest.
Yeah, he had to take 2 weeks off.
Yeah, I mean it's like you can't say that he makes people better because that 17. Larry Hughes was not a slouch.
No, he won't.
Mo Williams was an all-star according to everybody else. They had pieces. It's a Jonas Ilgauskas, an all-star.
Exactly.
So you can't sit there and say that
they
team
don't
was
count.
bad.
Yeah, and they say they don't count. Actually, that team might have been better than the team he put on the floor this year.
So I mean, and they had J.J. Hickson, who because Cleveland was supposed to got Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah,
but they didn't want to trade J.J. Hickson.
I was like, okay. J.J. Hickson from NC State.
Yeah, where is he now?
Nowhere.
I mean, like he got swept that year in the finals. Yeah, San Antonio was a superior team, but after that, they just got destroyed. Yeah. They never made it anywhere close to that.
Yeah.
So you can't say he's the best in the world. I mean, he's the best when he's got a strong supporting cast. So there's an asterisk beside that.
Yeah.
So he was the best. When Kyrie was playing, and Kevin Love was playing, he was the best. He was the best when D Wade was there. He won 4 MVPs, but it's what you can't tell me that you're the best and you don't. Your winning percentage doesn't prove it.
Exactly.
He's lost what 4 games in the finals, 4 series in the finals.
Yeah, he's 2-4
in the finals,
in the NBA finals. No one does that. Like
and consider themselves the best.
You run the mill, son.
Yeah, that's like they can say Peyton Manning is the greatest quarterback we've seen. He's the greatest regular season quarterback.
No question, but not Super Bowl.
When it's cold, you don't have to worry about Peyton Manning again.
Exactly, you never know. You don't. That's why I was like, I don't know. But so our next topic, the one that I think.
Yeah, we had this conversation.
I had the luxury of texting back and forth with you during actually a lovely dinner I had on Saturday night. But anyway,
I apologize for that.
Oh no, you're fine. No. This is no. Text me anytime, dog. It's not that serious. But anyway, I'm just saying because it was good food that we had. That Other than that, cool, good. But anyway. So, Jerry Richardson, the owner of the NFL's Carolina Panthers, has donated $100,000 to the families of the Charleston shooting to help cover burial costs of the victims. Richardson sent a letter to the Mother Emanuel Hope Fund dated Friday along with a check for $100,000. Now, Richardson asked in this letter for that $10,000 go to each of the 9 families of the victims and $1,000 for a memorial at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church honoring the memory of those killed in the shooting on last week. So, end quote. Now, when we talked about it, you said as far as a publicity stunt.
Yeah, and I still feel that way.
But he sent that note to the church. What happened was a Democratic member of the South Carolina House of Representatives tweeted a photo of the letter on Saturday morning. So,
I mean,
it wasn't linked to him, like, you know, and that's what I figured what was going to end up ultimately happening.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have. I don't know if it's on the Instagram page or anything.
It was on the Carolina Panthers Instagram page.
Oh, okay.
Or their Twitter page or something. It's on their website that you can see the letter. Now the problem I have, like, hey, you know what? He did a good deed.
Yeah, he did a great deed.
And I have no problem with people doing good deeds. But it's when you start attaching photos to it. Now he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Owner of every Hardee's in the Carolinas. So. Shout out to their breakfast.
Yeah, and shout out to Charlotte's gonna be the home of the 2017 NBA All-Star game.
That is nice.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna start saving now.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do a special couch coach.
We got to. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, back to the story. He has a publicist. You know, you can say what you don't want out to get to the public.
Yeah.
So you can put a gag order on certain things.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that I have with certain celebrities. If you want to donate, fine, donate. Don't take any camera crews. Don't take any pictures. So you sent the letter out knowing that someone, some way, somehow, that picture's gonna make it to the internet.
Yeah.
You can have your representative, hey, here, this is what we want to do. We don't want any publicity behind it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, people, they say, oh, well, such and such made an anonymous donation. Now, how do you know his name is attached to it? Because you told someone that who did this. And
the letter and the name's on his letter.
Yeah, and then you got the Carolina Panthers letterhead on it. So you know he's responsible for it some way, somehow. But my thing, it just looks like it's a publicity stunt. Like, you're just doing it for sympathy from your taxpayers because, we care about our citizens or whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's just... If you're gonna do something out of goodness in your heart, then you do it. Don't expect anything in return. Yeah. So you look at Dwight Howard. He's taking pictures with the family victims. Cam Newton today. If you're gonna go down there while these people are grieving, you can't be all smiles in their faces. You're there to, you know, console them, offer some condolences, but you're smiling.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Taking pictures no, that's not what that's about. You're trying to salvage your image. Because Cam Newton just got this whole, he shouldn't be getting $100 million contract.
And
so
then he's like, now it's like, okay, well, let me. And then even with this, and Jared Richardson, to your credit, has written a lot of wrongs in his life.
Yeah.
The Greg Harden thing.
Yeah.
Remember during a week so later he cried?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously. He cried.
Yeah.
Cried. And I'm telling you, and it went viral. That's the funny thing about the whole Jared Richardson thing. It was like, huh? Like, why is he crying for?
Yeah.
And it's like, explain it to people. Like, why is he crying? It's like, because he's trying to clean up his image because he already know what he did. He did it wrong by keeping Greg Harden in.
And it's like when celebrities do things like that, it just seems so disingenuous that it seems fabricated. It's not authentic. Like, if like you see it all the time, like when players, like I know it's in their the collective bargaining, they have to go and do like charitable events. If you're gonna do that for a charity, don't bring a camera crew. Be there just to touch those lives. You're gonna bring a camera crew.
And I'm glad you brought that up because it's funny now, and I think as far as when you just said that, it's just funny how, especially during the NBA Finals, how they cascade. Well, yes, the Golden State Warriors went to the Oakland School of Children.
Yeah.
Like what?
It's like Russell Wilson. You know how I despise Russell Wilson. It's
like
every Tuesday.
Okay.
Every Tuesday he's at the Seattle Children's Hospital.
Now
he's got Sierra with him.
Exactly.
So you got two. Just if you're gonna do something for the goodness,
just don't do it. Just
go.
Oh yeah.
Just why are you bringing a camera crew?
Yeah. Here go L.A. Man, look, he ain't from Richmond, bro. He from Tuckahoe. I'm telling you, when we were talking about later about as far as having a T-shirt. Yo, we gonna have to make one with that saying. What you saying?
Let's do it.
He ain't from Richmond. He from Tuckahoe.
Yeah. I'm gonna trademark that.
Yes, sir. We gotta definitely get that.
But it's just like, you know,
and that's one thing. You're right.
And also, like, you look at the NBA, like when they do those NBA Cares programs, none of the marquee players are there.
Never. And that's how I was wondering, like, well, where's LeBron James?
Exactly. The face of the league isn't there at these children's hospitals.
He's not there. And then, like, even for the NBA All-Star game, they show that stuff, and I'm like, well, where they at?
Yeah.
They at practice, or they doing something else. So they...
Like, nah, I mean, Show me the star players doing some of that stuff. It's in their CBA that they have to do these things. Like they have to make public appearances for social charities and things like that. Yeah. They have to do that.
So it's almost, and I think it's more so of just the society that we live in, unfortunately, because we're in a look at me generation. Yeah. Like, oh, look at me doing this. I'm doing this.
Like it's not valid unless it hits a social media site or something.
Exactly.
Like that.
As if like, back then Nino Brown could pass out turkeys on Thanksgiving, but now he got to do an Instagram video and be like, here you go. Yeah. Here's Miss Jenkins, here a pie. Yeah. Here a pumpkin pie for you and a 10-pound bird.
Yeah. And like I said, that's the only problem I have. Like, if you're going to do something out of the goodness in your heart, then you just do it. Yeah. There should never be a camera crew. If somebody happens to take a picture, they should have you posing for that picture. They should have you in the act of doing it.
This is what I like to kind of piggyback back to what you were saying. If, like especially with Russell Wilson, now I can understand if the children post a picture on their Instagram or something, but when you post it, it's kind of superficial. Yeah. And then with him, with Sierra and almost as if like, we're the consummate. That's so cute. Like, everybody's like, oh, that's so cute, and look at you. It's like, oh, look at her, she got upgraded. No, he can't mess up no commas because he has an insurance policy. I'm sorry. I messed up your train of thought.
And that's how it should be. It should be someone else taking that picture, not you take it and then because then it goes like, who's taking the picture? Is this your publicist taking this picture?
Who's taking the picture?
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like you're in the act and like, oh, this parent's taking this picture. Let me well, who is that? Oh, let me take a picture. I'm like, it's not that because you're posing for it.
And it ain't like it's a situation where they're reposting and anything. It's just like it's coming probably straight out of, oh yeah, just send me the picture. Yeah. But I mean, and I think it's just more. I think it's more so of just the times that we live in. I still think there's some type of genuineness in doing these type of things. Yeah. But I just think we're so wrapped up in a social media storm where it's like we fail to communicate. We fail to do a lot of stuff that our previous ancestors would do because we just so used to. We're now in an age, and I feel sorry for the generation that's coming up now because they're going to lack basic communication skills just due to the fact of texting instead of calling, social media, and and the misspelling of words and the grammatical errors that occur. But so. What we gonna do actually now? Cause we're a little bit behind not behind, but we good. We can do our mock draft. Okay. You ready for the NBA mock draft, my friend?
I guess I'm gonna be as ready as I'm gonna be.
Yeah. This one, So what we'll do, we'll break it down the first 7, then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back. So number 1, the Minnesota Timberwolves are on the clock. Who should the Minnesota Timberwolves get?
All right, well, they need a big man. So if I'm them, it depends on how they want to go. Are they going to be a fast-paced, up and down the court team, or are they going to try to play some kind of defense? So if they need an anchor, then you go with Towns. Yeah. If you're going to go offensive-minded, then you take Okafor.
Yeah. So if you were the GM of the Minnesota Timberwolves, who would you take?
I'm taking Okafor.
Really? And I wonder why. Tell them your favorite college basketball team.
Duke Blue Devils.
Don't! I'm sorry. I'm like Homer.
The 2015 national champion Duke Blue Devils. There's only one K.
Crying in the car. Romolicious.
No, I just think with the pieces that they built around, you got Rubio and Wiggins, Zach LaVine, you got pretty much you're going offensively, so you kind of get Okafor to balance that out. Now Okafor can sit behind Pekovic. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have to be that impact player right away, and you can interchange the two of them because Pekovic can't stay healthy. So you take the strain off of him for having to play 30, 40 minutes a game. Where he can come off the bench and be your defensive presence on the board. And, you can go points with Okafor. I mean, that's just how, if I'm in that position, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. If I was Flip Saunders in the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'll take Mr. Karl Anthony Towns from the University of Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Get you a $5 fill up with a big cookie. Colonel Sanders. Anyway, I just think Karl Anthony Towns. I think he just fits what Minnesota can do long term, and I like what he can do as far as his skill set. Kind of with him being young, the sky's the limit for him, and then having a guy like a Kevin Garnett in the organization in the fold that can help them.
Yeah.
And I think his game will definitely help his game will rise exponentially.
I almost forgot Kevin Garnett went back to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Just for that brief second.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett's back, and I don't know if he's gonna play the next season or.
He said he was.
Yeah.
He said he's coming back for one last hoorah.
21st season in the league.
Yeah.
Man.
What's the most ever? Robert Parrish?
Probably. But in that, because if we're from 1976 to 2007. But that should show you how old we are.
Yeah.
I remember the night Kevin Garnett got drafted.
Yeah, me too.
I remember I was like, man, I remember Antonio McDyess.
Joe Smith.
Joe Smith was the first pick by the Warriors. That's crazy. Michael Finley from Proviso West High.
Well, he went to Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. Yeah, from Provo.
Yeah,
Was it Provo West?
Provo.
Yeah, out in Chicago. How was the other guys that was? And then, oh wow, yeah, that's crazy to think that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, scary. I think I was going to 6th grade. Dang, man, that's crazy. But anyway, number 2, the Los Angeles Lakers. You are Mitch Kupchak.
I would go with Towns.
Towns,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just the flip flop. I mean, either way, however you want.
Either way, yeah. Either way.
With the Lakers, they're talking about they're gonna trade that pick because they want to get Booby Cousins.
Get him.
But George Karl said he doesn't want to trade him.
Well, he wanted to trade him, but the owner don't want to trade him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shoot, George Karl, I want.
Well, George Karl's also dangling out.
Ben McLemore and Stauskas.
Yeah, and he wants to get. He said he wants to do they say he's going to try to do a 3-team trade because he wants Kenneth Faried and Ty Lawson.
Oh, he wants his guys.
Yeah, he wants his guys from Denver to come. So I mean,
it'll be a nice little sweetheart deal they can work out. Oh boy, hey man, Boogie. Tell me, man, Boogie.
The thing about it is, can he and Kobe play together? Because you got those two strong personalities.
Yeah, and I think he'll fall in love.
And I think Cousins, he just wants to win. I know he's tired of losing. Like, he hasn't won anything since he's been in high school. So,
well, yeah, I mean, he won a little bit in Kentucky. I mean, they didn't win it.
Elite 8.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they won 30 games. He's won more than he's been in the league. Just about. I mean, well, he's had some 30-win teams, but I mean, that's an 82-game season though.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm Mitch Kupchak, I would go with Jahlil Okafor. I also would, I would like them getting D'Angelo Russell, but
See, the only problem with either one of those big men that go to LA, they got such a shadow that they got to go behind.
Yeah, you got
to play with Kareem, Will
Shaq, Dwight Howard.
So I mean, it's like the shadow. They got to be prepared for that.
Yeah, and I think with him, I think he will be fine. I think Jahlil Okafor, I think he just has a mental makeup, but I think he's gonna be fine. And he has and coming from that program in Durham, North Carolina, and having a guy like start with a K. Anyway.
But and
also, I feel like Zach Morris when he drunk that drink, like he can barely talk. Like, man, I don't even want to say that. Man.
I remember that episode.
But under that tutelage, I think if he can succeed at Duke at that type of level as a freshman, you got to think about all the guys who came through that program and just the shadow that he has to go through anyway. I mean, playing for Duke, that's hard.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a walk in the park, and I mean you're gonna be compared against the greats, and you got a hard like Coach K.
Yeah. and also like with the Lakers, any big man that they bring in, you got a young front court because Julius Randle missed all of last year with a broken leg. So you got those two guys just critical to your franchise. They're gonna have to come in and learn together. So it's like you got basically 2 first-round picks coming in the same year.
Yeah, and that's definitely helps them big time, and maybe that could be a bait for Sacramento to get Boogie.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Yeah.
Number 3, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well, they are stacked with big men, so they don't need anything there. If I'm them, I'm taking D'Angelo Russell.
Okay. This pick makes me like, okay. You know how you see somebody and you see, I call it like insanity. You see somebody who say, yeah, I want to do this, but they keep doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's called insanity.
Yep.
Philadelphia has this uncanny ability to do the most stupidest things when it comes to the draft.
Yeah.
The smartest thing to do is to get D'Angelo Russell. But knowing them, and then for some odd reason they love these, I call them the flavor of the weeks, the flavor of the months. Like, this is great new wing flavor. So the flavor of this week and the flavor of this draft is none other than Kristaps Porzingis from Croatia. And to me, and like you said, and then who knows when he's gonna come and play in the NBA.
See, and I hate those international players like
exactly.
that.
Like, if you come into draft camps throughout the whole summer and you working out for these teams, you need to be out of your contract and you need to be coming and playing for this team.
Because you don't want that whole Ricky Rubio situation to happen again.
And see what happened with that. And they end up having to get. Remember that year they
drafted
Johnny Flynn. Like, whatever happened to Johnny Flynn?
He broke his hip and he never bounced back. So luckily even though they wasted a draft pick, they traded Mike Miller for it. I mean, it helped out that they had that kind of insurance policy. Yeah. But you can't count on lightning strike twice in the bottle like that.
Yeah. So number 4, your go New York, go New York Knicks. Your Steve Mills and Phil Jackson.
They're talking about Porzingis.
Porzingis, yeah.
Porzingis.
Yeah.
I go with Emmanuel Mudiay or Justice Winslow.
For the New York Knicks, I have them selecting Emmanuel Mudiay from the Congo.
Yeah.
I think so, and I think this is just a smart pick. You got a guy 6'5", 200 point guard that, that's versatility. And he can fit a Phil Jackson type of team. I think.
And the reason why I said Justice Winslow, because Justice Winslow reminds me of a Scottie Pippen. He's that perimeter defender.
Yeah.
He can slash at the basket. He has a decent jump shot, and he can score when need be. He's just that all around player that they need. He can go perfectly as a combo with Carmelo. So it's something that they can work for, because I don't think they need a big man, because they're eyeing Greg Monroe
and I think
and
you can get that in free agent and you can get it a good a good deal, especially in this NBA market. You can get a good deal for size.
Yeah.
So number 5, the Orlando Magic. This is kind of tricky. And you got ink pen on you?
No.
Okay, I was going to get one probably. But with the Magic, this is tricky because we've already. I would say it's D'Angelo Russell, but they already got Big Oladipo.
Yeah.
And I just can't see him slipping that far. So with the 5th pick, I think they're going to end up getting Porzingis at this pick, even though you got Vucevic in the picture. But Orlando's one of the type of teams where it's like, you don't want to get a point guard because you already got Elfrid Payton. I think he could be okay. Then you got everybody like my boy, shout out to JJ, who'll say, "Man, that Aaron Gordon is the next Blake Griffin."
Yeah.
So, I'm saying Porzingis at 5.
Porzingis.
Yeah. So
because you got got Aaron Gordon, and they still got Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Oladipo. I mean, it's they got their pieces. It's just they need a coach that's gonna guide them in the right way. And also with that team, they need some kind of veterans, some way somehow to be a part of their team.
And that's the thing, like where are they gonna get that from? And then you're looking at this is a Scott Skiles type team, which I'm not a fan of Scott Skiles.
Yeah. That's your Bulls line. I remember that.
I mean, yeah, and my thing with him was just like he never really got the best out of players. I think at that time, like that's why it baffles me to see how Tyson Chandler has evolved. Yeah, and thinking to myself, wow, we had him. Like, and we had him. We traded him for J.R. Smith.
Go ahead and cry, man. It's okay.
Cry in the call. Cry in the call. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, with Orlando, I think they're going to get Porzingis. Number 6, Sacramento Kings.
If I'm the Kings, I'm going on a limb. I'm going to say Frank Kaminsky.
Oh, that high. Look at you.
Yeah. I mean,
Riverboat Gambler.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look because possibly you could lose Booby Cousins. So you need you need another front court player that can come in. He's a guy who can stretch the floor a little bit. He's going to win. He's a good leader. I mean, he's a team player.
Yeah.
He's kind of fits what George Karl's going to want to do.
Yeah. Sacramento, I think I'm going to get Eddie and Laura's little brother. Justice.
You got Rudy Gay right there.
And I think he's going to be gone too. Call me crazy. For some odd reason, they have something up their sleeve. Like Sacramento kind of reminds me of. I'm telling you, for some odd reason, I have a strange feeling that they're going to clean house. I think George Karl was just playing nice during the All-Star break. Like, look, I only got like 28 games. I'm going to see what these guys about, but I'm about to clean house.
And it's like some of Rudy Gay's like the light never clicked on for him.
Yeah.
Because he was destined to be a superstar, and they traded him draft night for Shane Battier.
Yeah.
Shane.
In Houston.
It's just one of those things. Like you knew he was coming out of UConn. You just knew he had star written all over him. Mm-hmm. Just the way he played, and it's just like the light never clicked on for him.
All right. Round out the first half of our epic NBA mock draft. The Denver Nuggets.
I would go with Devin Booker.
Devin Booker from the University of Kentucky. Kentucky. $5 with a big cookie.
It's just that team is in a transition, and it's probably going to be the best player available on that board.
Yeah. I'm looking at that stage. I'm looking at Stanley Johnson.
Yeah.
From Arizona, like you said, at this stage they get the best available. We can take a brief time out. We come back. We're gonna do the second half of our epic mock draft with the Pistons, Hornets, Heat, Pacers, Jazz, Suns, and Thunder on the clock. This is Couch Coach Live. But yeah, I think Sacramento's gonna clean house. Like Sacramento,
I got that feeling.
It's house cleaning.
Because first of all, George Karl's gonna do him because
It's Anja. Yes. Okay. And I feel for me, if I'm Stan Van Gundy, I feel sorry for this kid. Detroit is like the worst city I've ever visited in my life. I'm sorry to say that out loud, but it's true. Trey Lyles, poor kid.
Yeah.
Poor kid. Poor kid. And that's a perfect pick because we were talking about earlier about the Knicks, and we're looking at how Greg Monroe's gonna command a lot of money, and this is like sort of a cheap option for them to come back
because they still got Andre Drummond, so it's not like the cupboard's bare there. So
yeah. Going down Route 85 here, going to Charlotte, North Carolina. You are Michael Jordan, the Charlotte Hornets. Oh my God! There's no Adam Morrison, nor there is a Kwame Brown.
Oh man, so you just make it hard. If I'm Charlotte, I'm taking. Trey Lyles.
Okay. Charlotte is weird. Charlotte is in a situation where I can see them getting Cameron Payne from Murray State.
Yeah.
I mean for some
but it's just like, I mean, you know Jordan's going to do something asinine like that because he's going to double on a position that he doesn't need to. Like, he'll probably do something like draft Cauley Stein, where you got Al Jefferson right there.
And a guy that don't have no offense. And that's my thing. This is what needs to go going forward. He needs to get a guy who can put the ball in the hoop, who's a high volume scorer. Yeah. Because it's fine to have like a Michael Kidd-Gilchrist if you have a guy that can score that's scoring 20 points per game. He'll be a great piece due to his ability to score and kind of, and not score, but it's his ability to play defense and just, I don't know. I'm dressing him up a little bit too much. Yeah. I'm acting like I'm his father or his uncle or something. I really can't say nothing good about my kid Gilchrist at this stage. That would just be a fabrication. But anyway, you know what? To me, and hopefully Cameron Payne will be the answer for them. Going down now, we do the Miami with the Heat. Who you got Miami getting?
I got them taking Stanley Johnson.
Stanley Johnson, yeah. I got Mario Henzinga. Indiana, number 11.
So Roy Hibbert's gone.
Yeah.
David West is pretty much gone.
I think it was next year. I think they're free agents this year or next year.
David West, I think, can leave this year. Hibbert, I think, is unrestricted.
Okay, he's unrestricted, yeah.
If I'm the Pacers, I'm taking Miles Turner.
Yes, from Texas. I agree with that. Texas. I'm going to instantly with Texas. Shout out to Shaka Smart. I got Miles Turner. I think he'll definitely help big time. It could be a sizable upgrade at that position eventually. I think with the tutelage of Frank Vogel as well as Larry Bird, they'll definitely help in that predicament. The Utah Jazz.
The Utah Jazz, as bad as this sounds, well, no, they don't need a big man.
They don't. They, you know what? They kind of got some good pieces going.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what's because I'm thinking, and then everybody who you thinking is like, I don't know, because I got two guys in mind, but then it's like, no, I can't do, like, in my case, I was thinking Sam Dekker, but your boy Gordon Hayward, a.k.a. Miley Cyrus, is there. Yeah.
It's going to be a stretch.
Yeah.
Hollis Jefferson.
Okay.
Because you kind of need that help on the perimeter. They need that guy that can play like the 2 or the 3 to complement with Trey Burke, because I think now it's his time for him to step it up, because Mo Williams is getting a year older. Like I said, you got the front courts in place. I mean, what are they going to do with Derek Favors? That's another question. Do they keep him around? you just paid Gordon Hayward all. No, Gordon Hayward is. Did he go? Yeah, he's still with Utah.
Yeah, he's still with Utah. Remember Jordan gonna give him a max deal.
Yeah.
Drop the mic and drop the pen.
Yeah. So I mean, you got those in place. You just kind of need those complementary pieces right there. So that's why I would go with that.
And even though they have Rudy Gobert, I for some odd reason I said Frank Kaminsky. I don't know. I don't know. That's one of those things where, but I don't know. But number 13, we got Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns. What you got?
I would go Bobby Portis, Arkansas.
Bobby Portis, and also I got Devin Booker.
Okay.
From Kentucky. Fight off for chicken in a big bit. I mean, in a big cookie. Number 14, the OKC Thunder around on our epic mock draft.
I'm gonna go back home.
Okay.
Tyus Jones.
Oh my gosh.
Because
it makes sense.
And the reason why I do that because
it makes sense.
You got Billy Donovan, so he's kind of gonna want a fresher mind in a college guard.
Yeah.
So that way you can transition Westbrook into the 2 guard spot where I think he's much more effective.
Yeah.
Rather than running the offense. So now you got a natural point guard that can facilitate the ball between Durant and Westbrook. So that way you take some of the decision making away from Westbrook. So you put that natural point guard in there to reduce that power struggle.
And this is like when you had the stretch with Kaminsky going to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Call me crazy, but I don't know. I'm high on Montrezl Harrell. Call me crazy. I mean, this may not materialize, but I like him in that spot at that 4.
He can spell Ibaka.
Here and there, and why on earth is Perry Jones III and Jeremy Lamb is just not playing like.
And who else did they just picked up? They got Steven Adams.
And he playing more than him. And some dude. The boy from Michigan, McGarity.
McGarity. Yeah.
And they playing more than him. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not good.
PJ3.
Huh?
PJ3 just sitting on the bench.
And remember at one time, Perry Jones III could be like a number 1 pick.
They consider him to be comparable to Kevin Durant, and now he's just sitting there.
He's his third stringer.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to getting them DNPs.
Coach's decision.
Yeah. So we'll we'll do our brief, the reserves, where we have pretty much some stories of note in the sports world that doesn't necessarily make the front page. So this is definitely in your wheelhouse. Alabama and Florida State are on the verge of finalizing a deal to kick off the 2017 season at the new Atlanta Falcons Stadium.
I think this game is long overdue.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean,
because just as an Alabama fan, I've been waiting to see this game as a national championship game. I mean, I wish it could have took place, with Bobby Bowden and Nick Saban as the coaches. But I think it's gonna be good for college football to have. You need those upper marquee matches. I mean, even though it affects so much as far as college football, if you lose a game, you can fall out of grace within a matter of a week. But it just gives you those power points depending on how that game, the outcome of that game turns out. So I think they do need more competition in those non-conference games because you can't have a tune-up game every week. I think that's pointless, and it takes away from the game. You want a competitive game week in and week out. You don't want them to wait till a conference game and then now you got a hard-fought game. There needs to be a hard-fought game every week in college football, just like the NFL. You never know what game is going to turn out to what. You can't expect to cut on TV on a Saturday afternoon and your team is winning 63-3. It's just pointless. You don't even want to watch that game.
You don't want to watch that game because it's pointless.
Yeah.
So and I'm definitely looking forward to this new Atlanta Falcons Stadium. That'll be very interesting to take place in 2017, which is not gonna be long from now.
Yeah.
2 years from now, which
Going by that fast.
Huh?
It's going by fast enough.
I know a lot of people be like, well, what? God, 2015 season.
Yeah.
James Rodriguez reaches 3,000 hits. This is like I said earlier when I texted you last week. Bernie Mac is rolling over in his grave.
Mr. 3000.
Exactly. He's literally Mr. 3000 with no Angela Bassett around, but
no boat.
How much?
No Boke in the sweatsuit.
No. So he catches 3,000 hit on Friday. After a solo bomb. The guy who caught the baseball, Zach Hempel, is actually a Yankee season ticket holder. He caught the ball, and now he's refusing it to hand it back. And he's pretty much saying, like, look, this ain't no, like, when Derek Jeter got his, he's like, look, this ain't no little, I'm going to give it back to him. He was like, you know what, this man makes millions of dollars.
Yeah,
Why can't I
have no problem. You go there, you go to games to catch.
And he said, and like he said, this is a moment. He said, this is a moment that I thought about in my dreams, and it was like 1,000,000 to 1 odds.
Yeah, so I mean,
and that's my thing. Like, let him just get it. Like, to me, it's really not that serious to a point where it's just like, oh, this is my 3,000 hit. Like, it's for the fans. Like, he's a season ticket holder, and at the new Yankee Stadium, like, he's probably gonna be paying $2,000 or $3,000 in what they call PSL, personal seating license.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like.
And then again, there goes that spoiled athlete mentality. Well, I hit the ball, you should give it to me because of who I am. Like, no. I caught the ball. I went to that game sole purpose to catch a home run.
Yeah, and that's what most people, when you go to a baseball game, that's what you want. It's like anything. You go to a basketball game. I don't want to go to a basketball game because they got a t-shirt can.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, people, I like going to games, but like I go to Union Richmond games. I like free stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, shoot, who don't like free stuff?
And that's the thing. Like, all right, hey, Ron, if I give you this ball, what are you going to do to compensate me?
Exactly. But he ain't going to do that because, and plus that type of personality Alec Rodriguez presents, I wouldn't give him nothing either because,
and then also you got to look at the way he's playing this shit. Like, you set off a year of baseball, he's hitting the ball a whole lot better than he was when he was allegedly using PEDs. Those are things.
Exactly.
Like, is he using them still?
Yeah. So, going now, Danny Ferry, the most epic 10-month leave of absence I ever heard in my life. Yeah. He went to see his daughter's soccer practices. He went with was it who was it? The Harvard coach? Is it from that school in Durham? Who was the coach at Harvard? Is it Tommy Amaker or Johnny Dawkins? I forget. Okay, he traveled with Johnny Dawkins when they went to NCAA tournament. He also was a part of the run when they won some thing and won some type of game in what is it, Indianapolis this year? Yeah. Oh no, it was in Houston. Was it in Houston?
It was in Indianapolis.
Yeah, it was in Indianapolis. Some little shiny little tournament. They had some little cheesy little song called "One Shining Moment" played after they won some type of game. But anyway. I'm bad mouthing, but
I see.
He's done. But the thing, he's been on a 10-month leave and he's done all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
So finally, he pretty much and they of course they bought him out, and it's funny how his lawyer and different documents they suggest that he's not a racist. But the reason of the leave, people didn't know, came from a conference call pretty much almost a year ago to the day about Luol Deng, and he said that, and I quote, he has a little African in him, end quote. He's like a guy who would have a nice storefront and sell you counterfeit stuff out the back. To me, and see, this is like, to me, when I heard they said, well, there's no proof of him being racist, it's almost like saying this, just saying like, oh yeah, I have a black friend.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like they downplayed the whole situation.
Yeah.
Like, he was reading the reports off a scouting report. I've never heard a scouting report like that. That has nothing to do with him playing basketball. Because
this sounds like code. Sound like from what I'm hearing here, like how I would interpret this is, okay, he looks like a physically great player, but he's bad.
Yeah.
So to me, you can say something where he has a great physical markup, but he lacks consistent, something of a nature where, and you're not, and I don't care what somebody, gives you a read, at least glance over it. Or even to a point, he has a little,
Yeah, so the way they blew his comments up, I wish they would have blew. The way they blew the Harrison twins comments up.
Exactly.
They should have blew
Danny Ferry, which is just like no one, and it's funny. No one's really like
they just swept it.
They swept under the rug, and then it's like everybody, the team success, it got masked.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and like when you say something like this, it's just like. I don't care. You don't have to have emails or anything to support that you're this, that, and the third. It came out of your mouth during a conference call that everybody can listen to. Even I think it was like a league one where we could even listen to it if we wanted to. As far as the transcript of it. I mean, you're on a conference call where it's going to be recorded, and this is going to happen. And then he gets pretty much a vacation for saying something of that nature. Yep. Where most GMs or most anybody in this league would be reprimanded to a point where they would have got fired. Yeah. Much less a buyout. They'd be gone. And like Donald Sterling. We want to put that out. I know we got like 4 minutes left, but everybody made that a big deal.
Yeah, they did.
But then this is even worse. It's the same. This is even worse because when you think about it,
I think the league didn't want to have that same blackout twice.
Yeah. And that's what and I think
because it happened right after
because it happened in June 6th, June 6th conference call, and that's my thing. It's crazy, but to me, it's when you say a comment like that that don't make any sense. Yeah. Like I mean, and even to a somebody who's a talent evaluator would not surmise this as a person that has a great storefront.
You are a former player, so you know the kind of things like public remarks can make.
And out of all people. But anyway, we'll move on forward. Darrelle Revis' mom banned from Super Bowl ring ceremony. As we all know, cornerback Darrelle Revis, of course, he was unable to attend the ring ceremony last week. So he figured, well, I'll bring my mom, in place of me, I'll give my reservation to my mother. So she gets there, and they tell her, no, you can't come in. And I guess Revis felt as though, if she can come in my place, but the tickets, unfortunately, were non-transferable. Yeah. So, and of course, we know one of the reasons. Not one of the reasons, but it's a possibility.
Because he went to the Jets. That's the only reason why.
He went to the Jets and he made them comments about Deflategate.
Yeah.
And with him being in the middle of that team is like an oxymoron.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. Yeah. You can't. Any parting words? I know we want to talk about Adrian Broner's embarrassing finish.
Yeah, it was just terrible. I mean, it's like with Adrian Broner.
Yeah.
I think he has all the physical tools. Like you can see the way he wants to be like Floyd Mayweather, but it's just something in him. He just goes into more flamboyant than what he should be. I mean, even after he lost, he talking about the man's girlfriend and all. It's just
leave that alone. And they having pictures of guns.
Yeah.
Like man, you a trip, man. You something else, dog.
Because it's like like most fighters after they lose, they get humbled. He went to Instagram like he won the fight
instantly. I thought because I didn't watch it, and I was like, did he win?
Yeah, you would have thought he won the way he carried on.
Yes, he figures like, man, this junk on NBC, nobody watching this. But yeah,
it's Adrian Broner.
Yep, we had about a minute left. Any final words?
Oh, I just got the note that Tom Brady officially left the.
I got an alert as well.
We wait to see what happens.
We'll wait and see. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting what's gonna take place with that. Like I said, it's probably gonna be 0 games to 2.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be a 4-game suspension like everybody did, because he did the shock factor because he wanted that to be on Good Morning America and all the morning sitcoms where everybody watched those. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we got 42 days left of training camp.
Yeah, man. Especially for the Washington Redskins, they'll be here in the great city of Richmond on July 30th. They descend upon the boys of summer. So shout out to the GRTC bus that'll probably be having posters, road trip to Richmond. But this is Couch Coach Live. We'll talk with you next week.
dive into the whole boxing thing next week.
Yeah.
Like, cause that's terrible. It's like you don't know who the champions are.
No, man, it's a shame.
And it's so bad that De La Hoya, at 42 years old, has to make a comeback.
No, and